Hi friends, welcome to the channel Unshackling Sudokus and Puzzles. Ashish here, and today I'll be covering a Sudoku variant called Consecutive On-line Sudoku. Now this Sudoku I constructed for patrons of my Patreon page Enthralling Sudoku, where I send nearly 40 plus Sudokus to all my patrons for every month. Right? So if you are really interested in handcrafted Sudokus, I would highly recommend you to subscribe to the Patreon page. I'll add the link in the description below. You'll get more than 20 classics. You'll get nearly 20 classics and more than 20 variants every month. And this is one of the variants that I had constructed for June month, so the previous month. And this was really a tough Sudoku, not very tough I would say, 3 to 4 star Sudoku, and a really good Sudoku this is. So before going to the Sudoku, I would recommend you to please subscribe to the channel Unshackling Sudokus and Puzzles if you haven't done so. It will really motivate us to cover videos on daily basis. And if at all you have a request for any Sudoku variant or a puzzle genre, do let us know in the comment below and we'll surely make a video on it. And we have also started a Patreon page for Unshackling Sudokus and Puzzles as well. So we have more than 650 plus videos on our YouTube channel, and we are doing this hard work from past 2 years. So if you can please support us, do subscribe to the Patreon page. I'll add the link in the description below. And now coming back to this Sudoku. So this was the tough Sudoku. Many top solvers also took a lot of time to crack this Sudoku. So I thought of covering a video on this one. I also actually forgot the solve path of this, but let's see if I will be able to solve this Sudoku, right? And the rules are quite simple. So you need to place digits from 1 to 9 in each row, each column, and 3 into 3 box, right? And apart from that, you have lines on the grid, right? A few lines. So numbers on the lines, adjacent numbers on the lines will always have to be consecutive, which means these two numbers will have to be consecutive, these two, and these two, it forms a loop here. So all the numbers on the line adjacent to each other will have to be consecutive, right? Very easy rules, and with that we should be able to solve this Sudoku. So the one thing that I see here is an 8 here, because 8 here and here will give you an 8 here. Okay, so one more thing that I see here is what are digits you can have here, right? I'll just mark those here. You can have 2, 4, 5, 6, 7 and 9. These are the digits that you can have here, right? So the moment so what happens is, if there are 3 cells in the same box on the line, right? So if you have 3 cells in the same box adjacent to each other consecutively, then the middle number can never be 9 or 1. So this, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7 and 9, it can never be 9. So if this cell is a 9, one of these cells would have to be 7 and the other have to be, both of these cells would have to be 8, which is not possible, right? So this cell can never be a 9. This cell can never be a 7 as well, because the moment it has a 7, one of the cell would have to be an 8 and other would have to be 6. But you already have an 8 here. This cell can never be a 2 as well, because if this cell is a 2, both the cells would have to be 1 and 3. One of the cells would have to be 1, other cell would have to be 3, which means it is not possible. You already have a 1 here. And last but not the least, this cell can never be a 5 as well, because the moment it has a 5, one of the cells would have to be a 4 and the other cell would have to be a 6, right? The consecutive cells of 5, the consecutive digits of 5, and you already have a 4 in that column, which means this cell can only be a 4 or a 6. Now what happens here is, if this cell is a even, both of these cells would have to be odd, both of these cells would have to be even, both of these cells would have to be odd, and this cell would have to be even, which means, because you know that if one of the cell is an even, then the consecutive digit on that line will have to be odd and the other would have to be even, because that is what it will form a consecutive digit, which means 1, 3, 5, 7 and 9. So this is 1, 3, 5, 7, 9. Same way both of these would have to be 1, 3, 5, 7 and 9. And all of these would have to be 2, 4, 6 and 8, right? This cell cannot be 8, this cell cannot be 8, this cell cannot be 8, and it cannot be 6 as well. It cannot be 9, 9 and 1, because I am just removing all the, oh, this cell can be a 9. I am just removing all the possibilities of those cells, right? Okay, so we are done till here. Now this cell cannot be a 9 because this cell would have to be an 8. Not possible, right? You can remove such cells. This cell cannot be 7 or a 9 because you won't have the consecutive digit in this cell for 7 and 9. This cell cannot be a 7 because you won't have a consecutive digit for 7 on this cell, right? So we have done till this. Okay, now let us see this consecutive line. Same way we will do here. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and 9, right? Cannot be 9 because you need to have 8 in both of these cells. Cannot be 7 because you need to have 6 and 8 in both of these cells. You already have an 8 here. Cannot be, okay, it can be. Okay, let us see this cell now, right? Very few possibilities, but still you will have only limited possibilities when you eliminate this cell. I remember the solve path quite now, because seeing the Sudoku, I could see the solve path here. I could remember the solve path here. Cannot be 1, right? Because both of these would have to be 2. Cannot be 2 because one of these will have to be 1 and 3. 1 is already here. Cannot be 3 because one of these cells would have to be 2 and 4. And 4 is already here. Cannot be 4. Cannot be 5 because one of these two cells would have to be 4 and 6. 4 is already here. 6, 7, 8 and 9. 9 is not possible because you need to have 8 in both of these cells. 7 is not possible because you need to have 6 and 8 in both of these cells. 8 is already here. So you got one more even digit here on the line, even digit possibilities on the line, which means all of these would have to be evens, right? Which means these are 2, 4, 6 and 8. These are, this is 1, 3, 5, 7, 9. So cannot be 4 and 6. 1, 3, 5, 7 and 9. Right? So if this is a 3, 5, 8 cannot be in one of these cells. You cannot have 1 here, cannot have 9 here. If this is 6 and 8, 1 and 3 are not possible here. If 2 is here, you don't have anything here. So 2 cannot be here. Same way you cannot have a 2 here. Okay. You cannot have a 4 here as well because 4 is already here. So you have a 6, 8 pair here. Which means this cannot be a 3. This cannot be a 2. So you have a 4, 6 pair here. Now that was the breaking for this puzzle. An excellent way to break this puzzle. So the moment you got a 4, 6 pair here, this cell would have to be a 3. Now sorry, 5. The digit between 4 and 6, that is 5. That gives you a 7 here. That gives you a 6 here. That gives you a 4 here. That 4 gives you a 5 here. That gives you a 6 here. That gives you a 7 here. And it can be 8. It has to be 8 because of this 6 here. So moment you got a 6 here, now that is how you break this Sudoku, guys. A really difficult break-in, but not not very trivial, I would say. Not very trial and error kind of thing. So the moment you get a 6 here, because the moment you got a 4 and 6 here, you got a 5 here, that gave you a 7 here, and that gave you all the digits on this line. So which means the moment you got a 6 here, you get a 4 here. Both of these cells cannot be 7, which means this cannot be 6. No, 6 is possible, I'm sorry. That gives you a 5 here, right? Yeah, this 5 removes 5 from this cell. So that removes 6 from this cell. You got a 2, 4 pair here. That should give you a 3 here. That removes 3 from this cell. Which means 3 cannot be here, cannot be here. So this cell would have to be a 3. So this cell would have to be a 9. And these two cells are 2 and 7 in any order, right? So which means 1, 5 and 6, right? So this is 1, 6, 1, 5, 6 and 1, 5 and 6 here. This 4 should remove 4 from this cell. That is 2 and 6 here. Okay, so if this is 3, this cannot, okay, it is possible, I'm sorry. Okay, so we are done till this. Now let's go with the other part of this Sudoku. 3 cannot be here. Okay, 8 cannot be here, 9 cannot be here, this cell cannot be here, 1. One, two, three, 4, 6 and 9. So this cell would have to be a 9. These two cells are 4 and 6 in any order, right? Okay. That 9 should give you a 9 in one of these two cells. Oh, this is 2, 4, right? So this cell would have to be a 7 and a 2. Right? So what do we get here? Cannot it be 1? Can be 2, 3, 4, 6. No, not 5. Okay. Cannot be 2 and 4 also. So it cannot be 1, 2, 4, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8 and 9. 3, 6 and 9. Right? Okay. 3 means 2 and 4. Both are not possible. If you have a 3 here, 2 and 4 both are not possible here. So this cannot be 3. If this is 6, this would have to be 7. If this is 9, this would have to be 8. So if this is 6, this is 7, this would have to be 8. Cannot be 6 again. So which means it cannot be 6 here. So this would have to be 9, 8, 7. This can be 8 or 6. But 6 is not possible. So this would be 8. This would be 7 or 9. 9 is not possible. This would be 7. Right? Yeah. Okay. So which means 8 cannot be here, 8 cannot be here, 8 cannot be here. This cell would have to be an 8. 1, 2, 3 and 9, right? Possible anyway. So 1, 2, 4, 3, 5 and 6. So this is 5 and 6. 3 and 5. 3 and 5 is not possible. This is 6. So this is 5. That is 3. That 3 gives you a 3 here. Yeah, this 5 gives you a 1 here, so that means this is 2, that is 4. That one gives you a 2 here, that gives you a 3 here, and that gives you a 5 here. And with that we have completed all the digits on the line. Now it is just about solving as a classic Sudoku, right? So let's see. 2 will be in one of these two cells, 1, 2, 4 and 6. 6 cannot be here, so this is 6, that is 4, that is 2, that is 1 and 5, so this is 1, that is 5. Okay, and 1, 2, 6 and 7 in any order, so that is 7, that is 6, 9 and 3 in any order, 3 and 9 here. So okay, 1, 2, 3, 7, 9 and 2, 2, 7 and 9, so this is 2, 9 and 7. That gives you a 9 here, 1 and 2, so this is 2 and 1. That one will eliminate 1 from this cell. That 6 gives you a 1 here. 3 and 4 in any order, so this is 4, that is 3. That 4 should give you a 4 here, but okay. 5 and 6, 1 and 6, right? So 1, 2, 6 and 9, so this is 2, 6 and 9 in any order, that we already got the order here, 6 and 9. 1, 2 and 5, so this is, has to be 2, sorry, this would have to be 2, 1 and 5 here, can be anywhere. So which means this would have to be 3, that is a 3 here, and 4 and 8, right? So this is 4, that is 8, that 4 gives you a 6 and a 4 here, that gives you a 5 and a 6 here, that should give you a 5 here, that gives you 1 and 7 here, so that is 7 and that is 1, that gives you a 7 here, and 5 and 4, so this is 4 and 5, that gives you a 5 and a 1. And with that we complete this gorgeous consecutive online Sudoku. So I hope you got the logic on how to actually approach a consecutive online Sudoku. These Sudokus can sometimes be very tricky, but you'll have to look out for eliminations all over, right, all over the line. And the moment you get a parity on the line, and that should be the way to break in the Sudoku, right. So the moment you got a parity on the line, you know that all the alternate digits on the line will have to be on the same parity, right, and that way you should be able to solve this Sudoku easily. So I hope you enjoyed this Sudoku, and I hope you enjoyed how to actually solve a consecutive online Sudoku. So do like and comment if you want us to solve any other Sudoku variant or a puzzle genre, and please don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Thank you.